You are watching Xirtus.
There's certain kinds of GMO tomatoes that they are also kinds of bred tomatoes that weren't even before GMO that were just they were not as good tasting, but they were thicker skin, so robots could pick them up.
So you could make fun of them for a little while, and they would be like, "Whatever, I don't care. Put me in your sandwich." Yeah.
If you had, no splatty tomatoes, but if you had a tomato that was better tasting, but you had to have more people to pick it by hand, then the tomato would cost more. So, of course, we've made decisions to have a not as good tasting tomato that is easier to pick because it'll make it a cheaper tomato, which fits in our price range. I think that's also a big thing that we need to look at is how many of these things have been augmented the wrong way for just the wrong reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, especially with food, I'm super careful about that.
What about this lady that they pulled out of a Jeep who was alive? So the police showed up, and there was this Jeep in the water they were trying to pull out of the water.
Was she chilling, or was she trying to get
panicking? She was like, "Oh, I didn't even know. Hi, guys."
Exactly. Yeah.
Here, go ahead, Doug. Pull it up. Here, read this.
It started with a call from a fisherman who said he saw what looked to be a black Jeep virtually submerged in a large lake in Marion County, Texas. Not until later, after the tow truck came, did anyone realize someone was in the vehicle. And they were still alive.
We
do not know how long the Jeep was in the water, Captain Chuck Rogers, an investigator at the Marion County Sheriff's Office, told NPR. And that's just one of the several questions that remain unanswered about the unusual case. After the initial call on Friday morning, it took deputies around 18 minutes. I don't know, guys, what should we do? To reach the scene in Lake of the Pines, which sits between Dallas and Shreveport, Louisiana. Is that right? Louisiana?
Yeah.
It took a little longer for a truck from a nearby wrecker service to arrive. The Jeep was far from shore, about 40 feet out from the water from Woody's camp boat ramp. The fisherman who called the authorities stuck around. I got nothing better to do. Using his boat to help a tow truck worker get out to the Jeep and hook up a tow cable, Rogers said. That's what I said. I didn't know that I could verify it. It was at the time that they saw the woman inside the Jeep, the captain added. Abruptly, when what began as a salvage job became a rescue. Still haven't heard from the woman. The fisherman and tow truck driver helped get the woman out of the vehicle, pulling her into the fishing boat. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my gosh. Louisiana. That's crazy, man.
I wish they gave a few more details on what when they found her, like, was she
Deputies
submerged
called an ambulance.
in water?
The woman's identity has not been released. Please don't tell anybody. It was such a foolish mistake.
Why don't they tell you she was awake?
She's been reported missing.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if it was honestly just like hey, look, I slipped. I fell asleep at the wheel. I got into the water. The water.
How the hell do you end up 40 feet out? Like, was she floated all the way?
Must have floated. My question though is, was she unconscious? Was she in water? Like, why was
either that or incredibly preoccupied with something like TikTok?
Yeah, she's on the phone. She's doom scrolling.
Police couldn't share any more details about the woman or the circumstances.
I'm trying to find out if modern Jeeps are watertight like that. That's pretty cool. I might buy a new one soon.
Yeah, those Jeeps with the soft tops, I never really had much trust in. So that's pretty.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's less watertight for sure.
What if that's all that it is? It's an ad for Jeep.
Yeah.
We'll keep you dry when you're submerged.
Jeep. It's like the National Lampoon Volkswagen ad. If Ted Kennedy drove a Volkswagen, he'd be president today.
Oh,
the older ones remember. Oh, that's sad.
Oh, yeah, I drove right by that Chappaquiddick Bridge a few times.
Oh, and it's just because I feel like it's worth it. We'll cover this. Ukrainian hackers say they have compromised Russian spy who hacked the Democrats in 2016. See, so it's all figured out. It's all solved. Thank God the Democrats found Ukrainian hackers who could hack those Russian Republican hackers, because that'll solve it. But is that what I'm hearing? They're saying that Ukrainian hackers, why are they doing this? Why would they care? Who, what? Why are they trying to break into this Russian hacker on behalf of the FBI? So the FBI, are they involved? Like, are they helping? Are they paying the Ukrainian hackers? Like, what's the deal with this? What do you think?
What is the deal with these Ukrainian hackers?
Everything involving Ukraine is running cover for money laundering, like DNC money laundering, I think, and just DC money laundering more broadly. So I would just assume, Ukrainian hackers, they hacked the evil Russians and found out that Hillary Clinton's innocent. That's like basically the
surprise, right? Yeah.
It just works out that way. We didn't say that. That's how we found it. Yeah.
Turns out Hunter Biden never even did crack. He's just a great guy.
Telegram cyber resistance said it stolen correspondence from Lieutenant Colonel Sergei Morgachev, who was charged in 2018 with helping organize the hack and leak of emails from the Democratic National Committee and the Clinton campaign. Okay. So, I mean, it's possible. Did you ever, I never really bought into that at all, but do you think that there's anything to this whole, is it even plausible? You think, maybe the Russians are trying to hack the Democrats? Why not?
Layers upon layers upon layers.
Definitely possible. Yeah, that's it's just impossible to discern. You can't use your discernment to really even make a good prediction. It's just a multiple choice.
I feel like if you were a hacker and you were in another country and you're trying to hack another government, that makes a lot of sense. You would do it, right? Wouldn't you want to hack another? I'd hack a different governments.
I mean, how easy would it be to plan?
You spread it out. You go from one to another, and you pretend like you're one, and then it's you mix a bag kind of a thing. Okay.
Well, it would also be really easy to fake it because the NSA trains you to pretend that you're from another country when you hack somebody, and you use certain kinds of tools that other people use. So they're like, "Oh, this was probably an Iranian because they use some Iranian tools." Well, it doesn't mean that they are. It just means that they know how to make it look like they're Iranian, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have our training manual?
I do. I think that we might be at a point though where AI is going to help with hackers as well. This is something that in GPT they've been showing. You can just ask it how to do a question, so it'd be really easy to find anything out. If Trump had anything to do with this, I think by now we would have known. I think we wouldn't be dealing with the Stormy Daniels case.
My AI is the best AI. It's the greatest AI. You all love it. You use. Excuse me. Yeah.
Wouldn't we though? Don't you think, or do you think that? Why are they doing the Stormy case if they have this? What do you think?
I don't know if they're doing it. It could be a rogue DA. I mean, the previous Southern District DA had much closer ties to the administration and was coached not to do it. One, it said they were going to do it, wrote they were going to do it, and then didn't do it. So it could just be a rogue DA this time around, and they're like, "Yo, well, please don't open us up to examination." Possibly.
Amber wants to know if she should be a hacker and artist. The answer is both. Right?
Do I wish
Depends what kind of lifestyle you want.
Naked man stolen school bus, not from Florida. Asian bear meat at the vending machine.
Better
Guy
than
said
Bud Light.
he had a heart attack and went to hell in 2016. We did the Bud Light thing, didn't we? We talked about Bud Light. We already you can talk about Bud Light if you want. I like it. It's crashing.
Hands off my rotten rice seltzer. God bless America. It's Mexican rice seltzer.
What I heard was that they were trying to isolate their fan base on purpose because they thought they had too conservative a fan base, and they thought that if they did this, it would at very least get rid of people intentionally, and that from there it didn't matter because it'd be easier for BlackRock or Vanguard or somebody to move in. So it's actually a benefit to the corporation if it's picked up at a lower price. And
wow,
yeah, that's hypothetical, I guess.
That sounds like some high level business acumen right there. Yeah.
I would assume it's just they'll, Republicans or the right or conservatives or whatever don't really boycott. I don't really believe that there's widespread boycotts. I understand the stock.
I think that people don't like beer to have values. You know what I mean?
I think people that drink. No offense to any Bud Light drinkers, but I think if you're a Bud Light consumer, you're not making any principled decisions. So why would you ever boycott anything?
Yeah, you're trying to buy the cheapest bear probably if you buy Bud Light in the old days. And that was the thing. And now you're saying Bud Light means something. And so why would you want to drink? You wanted to buy a Miller.
It's always giving you breasts. It will transition you. You were happy with it when it was transitioning you, as long as they don't put a transition person on the can. I mean, I don't really believe there's an organic boycott. I think it's just the stock price dipped because it's in the news.
This guy stopped drinking Bud Light because of rainbow in the can. It's piss beers. Quick warning. Yeah, I mean that's. I don't know. Yeah, and then here's Kid Rock and Bud Light with the drag queen. I mean, I don't know if that's connected. I'm just saying. That's
reactionaries are not role models. That's like very reactionary. I understand you get a lot of clicks that way. You shoot up some beer bottles, your Kid Rock, but it's like,
ooh, yeah. I don't know. Bud Light
are not role models. That's good.
Avoid those beers. I said it before, but Ryan hops good bots and
right. Yeah, that's funny. You and me both made a post about that at the same time.
Yeah, because there's a 15th, 16th century beer law, which I'm not like 100% for this. Don't get me wrong. I don't think you should kill people. I don't think you should kill Belgian Trappist monks just because
this law isn't about beer. It's about language. It's about defending the definition of the word, which is so right. I like that.
It is also that they say like if you go to a beer house, like that was because the healthiest thing you could get was like a clean ferment. It's in a copper containers. You can bring your growler, which is 64-ounce container, from one town to the town. You could trust it. You could live off it. You could live off beer. If you didn't have food and you went to some town, they had some like 4-day-old rat pie or some like pot pie that's like they've been taking other people's leftovers and putting the leftovers in. You can't trust it because there's no health safety code. You could trust beer, and there were different kinds of beers they were making, and some people had super psychedelic beers. Some people had beer that had no hops in it at all. Some people had super high alcohol content. Some people had really low alcohol content. And they said, look, we just want it to be standardized, and that way it's safe. We want to know that it's made with malt hops and water and nothing else.
Yeast.
But the belt in the yeast, you could also accumulate yeast, because if you had this on your second story of your building and then the windows are open, then the yeast comes in and there's a thin copper rim around the entire floor, and then that you clear off the stuff that accumulates at the top. So the Belgians were doing that, and like, we don't really need to do it the same way. We also have different plants. We don't necessarily want to use hops. They wanted to use, what was the name of that stuff? There's like a skull cap or a yarrow. There's all different kinds of beers that they did. And then they also have wheat beers, right? And they're saying, we don't need to use hops. We could do these wheat beers. And the Germans were like, that's not beer, right? But on one level, that's fair, because they'd gone through situations where people died. But on another level, it's like, well, then what is it? Because it's, it's still something.